Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to Austria, and welcome to a quick spin on Kawasaki's new Z900 SE. It's kind of an interesting bike from Kawasaki because they've not gone 1000cc, they've called it the Z900, even though it is 948cc. But I guess Z900 948 doesn't really sound right. But the big changes for this model is it's now Euro 5+. When they make it Euro 5+, it's incredibly difficult to remain with the same power and the same torque because you have to abide by the new emissions and noise regulations and exhaust emissions. To keep the same power at 124 PS and 97.4 Newton meters of torque is an impressive task by Kawasaki. But what they've also done is really brought it online with some of the other bikes in this class and given it a 6-axis IMU. So that now means we've got lean sensitive ABS and lean sensitive traction control, which some bikes in this class don't have. We've obviously got a new TFT dash, we've got new switchgear, and that's got full Bluetooth connectivity, which means we can have turn-by-turn navigation if you download the Kawasaki app. Because this is the SE model, we've got a few little modifications. So we've got the Brembo brakes rather than the Nissin brakes. We've got the Brembo master cylinder. The forks are now gold, not black, and they are fully adjustable. So that's rebound, compression, and preload. We've got Öhlins on the rear, and we've got an easy access remote preload as well on the rear, should we add luggage or pillion. And this model's got a few accessories. So we've got the carbon, the Akrapovic exhaust, and a slightly larger screen. It's been a while since I've ridden the Z900. I can remember riding the previous one, but I've not ridden the Euro 5+ model, only the standard, not the SE. And it kind of falls in between some of the other bikes. Even though it's an inline 4, it's not as big and as bulky as, say, the Honda or the Suzuki. The bars are quite narrow. It feels more like a Z650 in terms of physicality, and you're sat very much in the bike rather than sat on the bike. The tank kind of comes up in shape. In terms of weight, it's quite weighty, it's quite heavy, but that gives it a really kind of secure, really good planted, really good solid feel to it. It feels like a proper motorcycle. It doesn't feel like it's being plasticated in any way. Some bikes you get on and it all feels a little bit false, where this just feels like really good mechanical, solid planted, and that gives you really, really good stability. When you ride the bike at speed, it's predictable, it's stable, it's secure, it's sure-footed. Handling, it's not pin sharp. You're not diving towards apexes like you would on something lighter. If you're coming from a sports bike, you might think it's slightly slow steering. But again, that gives you that reassurance and that security and that stability. And I think that's a real key factor of the new Kawasaki. You've got stability, you've got control, you've got power, you've got torque, you've got excellent brakes, and now you've got excellent rider aids working in the background should you get it a little bit carried away. Quick shifter on the SE works really well. Gearbox is really nice, really smooth, lots of torque, lots of drive. It's really ticking a lot of boxes. If it was like a school report for the Kawasaki, I think it's scoring kind of like B's or 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 across the board. Looks are individual. Some people are going to like them, some people don't. But what I do like about Kawasaki is that if you remove all the badges, it's so identifiable as a Kawasaki. It's obviously a Kawasaki. Prices in the UK are 11,349 for the SE. So it's kind of a little bit above some of the bikes like the Suzuki and the Hornet, but above others like the SP. Yamaha MT-09, which is similar in many ways with the Brembo and the Öhlins rear shock. But that's what I think of the Kawasaki. Overall, scoring extremely well. Doesn't do anything exceptionally brilliant, but doesn't do anything really bad. It's kind of 8 out of 10 across the board. But let's see what the rest of the team at 1000 PS think.
The Z900 SE is to me the strangest motorcycle. Before I even got on it, I was sure this is the recommendation. And even now, if I had 10 people standing in front of me, I'd probably recommend it to 7 out of 10 and say the Z900 SE is the best bike for them. Basically, the Kawasaki doesn't have a single weakness, except maybe the somewhat puny handlebar, which, compared to these other naked bike beasts, is just a bit too narrow. But apart from that, it's an incredibly well-rounded total work of art, also really well executed in the details. And it's a proper naked bike, like the definition of a naked bike. Because some others were kind of upgraded from supermotos, others used to be super bikes and then turned into naked bikes. But this one has always been a naked bike, and it really feels like the ultimate naked bike statement. Of course, a 1000cc Honda is stronger. If that's what you need, then you've got it. But overall, it's a fantastic package that you can buy without hesitation and be happy with. The Kawasaki Z900 SE is a big step forward, no doubt. The electronics, it's great what they've added, and I'm sure that's super important for the target audience. Personally, not so much for me, because I always ride these bikes in a way that the traction control doesn't need to intervene. I ride the way I learned it. So for me, that doesn't mean all that much. But what definitely does matter to me is the quick shifter. It works sensationally well. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I also feel like I've got a slightly higher seating position now, which makes me ride more actively. And in this comparison, the Z900 obviously didn't have it easy because the Suzuki was significantly stronger and the Honda was significantly stronger. But, and we saw this during those tough mountain sections, if you keep the Kawasaki revving, really wind it out, then it can definitely keep up. So in my opinion, a very, very worthy motorcycle. I think the toughest battle it has to fight is price-wise, against the Hornet.
My impression was that it's not fully grown. It's not a fully grown motorcycle. Not because a bike needs to have 150 or 200 horsepower, not at all. But the handlebar is very narrow. It feels very playful. Maybe it's more like a jeans and jacket kind of bike where I say, I take it out of the garage, ride for an hour in the morning, grab a couple of bread rolls, go to a cafe, and that's it. I wouldn't get it for touring personally. But of course, it always depends on the wallet or the thumb, as they say. So in that sense, it's attractive.
It's an extremely well-rounded package, a very coherent motorcycle in and of itself, but I don't think the Z900 and I will ever be best friends in this lifetime. I love the engine, but for me, it's kind of the most relaxed bike in this quintet we had. It's not top-notch or the spearhead in any category for me. It's so balanced that it doesn't stand out in anything. That again makes it very accessible, I think, and probably an extremely good choice for many people, really. But for me, what's missing is that last bit of character. Am I the sporty one? Am I the relaxed one? It's somewhere in between everything. And I mean, the engine is just smooth as butter, no question. It's absolutely tip-top, but it's also completely different from all the other four-cylinder engines we rode today.
actually liked the Z900 almost the most. The only thing where I thought I kind of wished the sound was a bit more aggressive, a bit more assertive. It kind of got lost among all the other top attributes it brings to the table. Because I have to say, of course, we've got the SE version here with the Öhlins suspension, which absolutely lives up to its name. There were a couple of road sections that were a bit bumpy, but it handled those super well. And the feedback, especially with the tires we had, which made the whole thing a bit fairer, really let you feel out. How does the bike communicate? What kind of feedback do you get? What's the synergy like? And I think the Kawasaki is one of the most accessible of them all. That doesn't mean it's a beginner's bike in that sense. I think it has plenty of power, more than enough, and it's really fun and kind of encourages you to ride a bit more actively. And the riding position is sporty too. And yeah, I think overall my impression was, if I had to choose one for daily use, one that I could also easily take to a track day, then that would be absolutely no problem. A very interesting candidate. But I think it sits squarely in the middle between defensive and offensive.
Let the good times roll. That's their slogan. And it's not just a slogan, it really fits. You have to say they've made a few updates and changes from the predecessor that have had a very positive impact. It starts with the seating position. The previous model was a bit cramped between the foot pegs and the seat, which resulted in a pretty sharp knee angle. And seat comfort wasn't great either. They've made a lot of changes here. It works really well now. You've got a more comfortable knee angle. It's comparable to the competition now. The distance to the handlebar is also quite good. There's a slight lean forward tendency, but not overly sporty. You don't sit as close to the bars as on an MT-09, but the ergonomics on the Kawasaki are still very balanced. The engine is the cherry on top. It's been in Kawasaki's lineup for a long time now. This 900cc engine is known from many other bikes. They've refined it over decades, and you can really tell. The engine's smoothness is incredibly pleasant. It has almost no vibrations. It's got good torque from the bottom. And while it's maybe not quite as strong at the top end as the competition, you don't really miss that. It has a relatively short overall gearing. In first gear, you're getting around 100 kilometers per hour, just over that. And that's exactly the kind of gearing you want on a street-focused naked bike. The throttle control is also really well executed. Even on our supermoto track, you can apply the throttle smoothly and precisely in first gear. It doesn't overwhelm you. And that lets you control your cornering line really well. Handling-wise, also the suspension has been slightly improved over the predecessor. We've got a very neutral steering geometry here. That means the bike continues the line you initiated without needing further input. You can adjust your line really well with the precisely controllable engine, and you don't lose any stability doing so. That's another advantage compared to the previous model. The bike has become a bit more stable overall. So in total, I have to say the Kawasaki delivers very good performance, both on the sporty track, like here on our supermoto course, and on the road, when it's more about cruising and building up good feel with the tires. The brakes on the Kawasaki also work flawlessly. You get solid deceleration. What stands out as a huge positive is the ABS behavior. On many other bikes, you lose a lot of meters because the ABS system is set up very conservatively and kicks in way too early. That's not the case here on the Kawasaki. The ABS here builds up a lot of braking force. It really sends a lot of pressure to the calipers and gives you excellent stopping performance. The base setup of the brake is already good. The hand force needed to get proper braking is well balanced. But the best thing is the ABS regulation you feel when riding. That really stood out.